Welcome to today's webinar. Before our presenters get started, I wanted to notify you that Syngenta, as host, will record the webinar via Zoom, and the recording will be emailed out to attendees and published on our website and social media feeds after the event. No recording by anyone else or by other means is permitted. If you'd like to ask a question, I have set the Zoom Q&A function so that you may do so privately by addressing your question to the panelists and not to everyone. If you have questions about Syngenta's data privacy practices, please see our privacy policy, which is available at syngentaflowers-us.com/privacy-policy. And now I will hand it over to our presenter.
Well, thank you, Brandon. And good morning or good afternoon to the Atlantic province there in Canada. My name is Jamie Gibson, and I'm a technical services rep for Syngenta Flowers. I'm presenting today from Southern Maryland, which was one of 20+ trial sites in the US and Canada where we featured our genetics. So today we'll be presenting some of our hottest new varieties from the 2020 summer trials. We want to thank our grower partners. We want to thank our university collaborators for providing that information so critical for the grower community to understand the genetics, to how this material performed across the US. So thank you so much. And especially in a COVID year, it was so challenging. Some sites weren't open. While we pretty much had a very good selling season, pretty much after the Easter holiday, it's been still a challenge to visit some of these trial sites. So having the videos, having pictures, having e-blasts has been really tremendous, and we want to thank all of our partners out there. Our goal today is to give you a small taste of the trials and for you to really investigate. Maybe you took a look at the website before this session, and we encourage you to take a look and navigate through the website to experience all of the trial data and information. So let's talk about the agenda. We're going to first address the trial sites in the US and Canada, and then we're going to give you a brief navigation instruction on how to meander through the Syngenta Flowers trial site. And then we're going to dive right into the genetics, starting with our interspecific geraniums, and then we'll finish up with one zonal geranium, our Rosalie antique salmon. Then we'll jump over to our vegetative bedding plants, specifically our petunias. And we'll finish up with our seed crops, our power brands such as Imara XDR Impatiens and Cora XDR Vinca. And then we'll hit those two new series of petunias that we introduced in 2020. We should have time for questions, and we hope to address your questions here at the tail end of the webinar. So let's take a look at the map. If you look at the website, syngentaflowers-us.com/trials, you'll be able to access this amazing interactive website with flags of the different trial sites. You know, ever since Syngenta Flowers was born, we are where you are. So from a product standpoint, from a product management standpoint, our product managers are in California, Colorado, Illinois, New England, and the Southeast. Our tech team is where you are. We can reach you within a half a day or in driving distance. And so our technical team has provided a lot of that information about the trials, as well as our sales staff that supports our broker partners in this great industry of ours. So taking a look at that, you can see where we're going to address the West, the North, the South, the Mid-Atlantic, the Midwest today in our session. The website, so clicking on that website, you're going to be able to navigate quite easily. Our market communications team has done an amazing job of pulling together a clearinghouse of information. It truly is an amazing site, a vision that we've had for many years, and to see it come to fruition is just tremendous. And so when you click on these links, when you click on those specific sites, the windows pop up. You can visit the university link. You can go in, for example, to Penn State there in Landisville and use their database and sort by genetics, by breeding company, by flower color. You can visit some of the sites that show our images and show our videos. We actually have over 55 YouTube videos now in the Syngenta Flowers library for you to experience. Very short videos that address our genetics. So that's the website. We have a tremendous amount of information. We hope that you have a great time surfing through the trial sites. Let's jump right into the genetics, because I'm sure a lot of you are chomping at the bit to see what did so well this past summer in the trials. I'm gonna start off with my favorite, which really hit home. I visited Lucas greenhouses in Monroeville, New Jersey twice in weeks 28 and week 30. And every time I visited, the Caldera interspecific spreading geranium was outstanding. Dark foliage, brilliant color. It's an eruption of color to beat the heat. And it just had tremendous flower power. If you get a chance, take a look at Dr. Allison Carlson's videos that address Caldera. Going in specifically, the colors, a red, a pink, and a salmon. Here it is at Lucas Greenhouses, showing you those self-cleaning umbels. That's one key characteristic of Caldera. And also the salmon here in Plant Peddler in northern Iowa. That team did an amazing job. If you get a chance, Calliope Orange Splash also did very well in their trials. From west to east to south, Caldera performed really, really well. So, you know, we have these Caliente geraniums that have a little more ivy blood, and we have the Ivy Leagues that do so well in the heat. But Caldera is just another complement to those two great series. Spreading interspecific geranium, great for the hanging basket, for large containers, and even the ground. Our tech rep, Don Snow, came back from Fessler's Nursery just south of Portland with an exciting amount of library pictures. Just wonderful pictures of Calliopes and Moxies and Mojos and Calderas to share. So get a chance, take a look at that site there at Fessler. Then the red is just so brilliant, just well fertilized there at Lucas Greenhouses. And then Young Plant Farm, just southwest of Atlanta or northeast of Montgomery, in ground beds. If you visit the Young's Plant Farm site, you click on the links, there's actually data. And Caldera performed really well, well above a 4.2 out of 5 in those heat conditions, especially in the June and July, just ungodly hot in the southeast this past summer. So Caldera. Moving on to Mojo. Mojo, we introduced Mojo Dark Red 2 years ago. The prototype, a medium vigor, dark foliage, brilliant color. So bold foliage, great for gallon containers. I had the pleasure of growing Mojo here on my farm. I started from rooted cutting to gallon container and then into the deck planters. And I was so impressed with that bright, brilliant color and the vigor. A little more upright than a Calliope medium or a Calliope large, perfect for those deck planters. And also in the garden, Kendra Hutchins there in Ithaca at the Cornell trials used the genetics throughout the garden, and it really performed quite well with a lot of Facebook posts. So we appreciate Cornell for featuring our genetics. Now let's get into some of those colors. So we introduced Mojo Orange and Mojo Cranberry Splash, our novelty. Mojo Orange here on the left, going across the border to Simcoe, Ontario. The Sawaya family does a tremendous job. They have these up on raised pedestals. You can take the pictures so well, and the geraniums always look great there. So we salute you, Mel. Thank you so much for featuring our genetics. Here again, Mojo Orange. there. Mojo Orange, a wonderful variety, and Mojo White. Look at Mojo White in June and July in the Southeast there in Alabama. Strong performance by the Mojo series out here in these summer trials. Okay, Moxie, right? The efficient geranium, the interspecific compact geranium. A lot of colors that we've introduced. We've improved the white. We're now introducing an orange and a violet. This is from Colorado State University, and my colleague Carl Trellinger and my friend Amy Briggs-Maka, our product manager for geraniums, and Mandy Gerace visited this site, and they were so overwhelmed with the performance of our geraniums. If you get a chance, take a look at Carl's video. It's a very short video, but he does just a beautiful job of explaining the differences between a Moxie, a Mojo, and a Calliope, 3 of our interspecific geraniums. Really nice performance. And so what you're going to see here for a theme is a Western, a Southern, and a Northern performance expression of the genetics. So here again, the Moxie Orange, brilliant color. Carl is just raving about this variety. Great in containers, efficient genetics. So pot tight, tray tight, container tight production, perfect for those conditions of growing geraniums in the spring. And then also in the South, in the deep South, the Costa R&D team just does an amazing job of displaying the genetics at season premiere, that first real chance to see how the genetics are performing. And Moxie just really did well. Brilliant, intense colors and ground beds. Here it is, the Moxie white in the container, bright white colors, dense, dark foliage, just a nice heat resistant interspecific geranium that you really got to check out. And then finally, that violet, Moxie Violet. Again, Carl really impressed with this variety. Ground beds there in South Florida and up in Canada. Thank you so much again, Sawaya family, for displaying our Moxies. You know, Moxies really have a strong niche in Canada because of that tight window of selling, you know, so they have to have those greenhouses packed tight. And Moxie does so well because it's that selling window of, say, week 19 to 21, where they really crank out the geraniums there in Southern Ontario. Okay, to finish out our interspecifics is Calliope Medium Cherry. Intense color that lasts. And wow, what a display at Raker's greenhouses there in South Central Michigan. Raker's, I love visiting Raker's, the ground beds, and also that terrace of those various containers. Here is Calliope Medium Cherry to go along and complement all those very popular medium varieties like Crimson Flame and Pink Flame and medium dark red. So intense color that lasts is clear with medium cherry. Not only in containers, but also in ground beds and in the full heat of summer. So Deidre McGrath there at Michigan State University partnered with our own Spartan, Dr. Matt Blanchard, product manager for geraniums, with strong performance up in Michigan. A 4.8 out of 5 in the summer for a Calliope medium. And then Young's also had strong performance in that very intense heat of the Southeast there in Alabama. Full of color. Again, check out the data there with Young's. They have specific quantitative data, photos to go with it, great bar graphs, just a really nice display of information. Okay, to round out our geraniums, we're going to touch on our one zonal that we want to feature today. This is Rosalie Antique Salmon. This is a zonal geranium, nice zonation on dark foliage with a very small chassis, but high flower power. And those pink flowers are really impressive. So if you're familiar with our interspecific Pretty Little Pink Splash, think Rosalie Antique Salmon from a zonal geranium standpoint, performing very well in Colorado, Michigan State. Of course, it is going to require some deadheading just because of the double flowers, but a tremendous asset to have at the retail bench. Okay, so that finishes out our geraniums. And now let's switch over to some of the vegetative bedding plants. This is an exciting variety that I have had the pleasure of working with Mass Young Plants on. This is Itsy Magenta. We worked on some production programs. It's a great variety. I remember it back in 2018. We had a wedding here on my farm. It looked outstanding in late October, full of color, just like in the summer, dense mat of canopy and just a real powerhouse of color. So Itsy Magenta, small and mighty, tough and tiny. This one is a hit. This one was a hit at many trial sites. And if you get a chance, take a look at that video from Brian Weezy's, where they have some overviews of Itsy Magenta, how they've used it in combinations, a great YouTube video, very short, to tell you how Mass Young Plants use that variety there in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Here we have it in several other sites in the north, in Cornell, Facebook posts, dense mat, great color. I love Lucas Greenhouse in late July. You walk on that nursery fabric, you're like a kid in a candy store. Big mounds of color. You don't even see the pot. You just kind of meander through and you just see the tremendous flower power. And also there are folks there at Penn State working with them specifically. I had the honor to work with folks like Sinclair Adam and Crystal Snyder and Nick Flax, and how they did so well in a COVID year with the Penn State data. Itsy Magenta, 4.75 to 5 out of 5 there in Landisville, Pennsylvania. Plant Peddler had it in a display garden. So the Gooder family, salute you, well done. 18 out of 25 varieties in their top 25 at their open house on the 7th of August, and then Metrolina. So is this variety going to do well in the South? Absolutely. Dense carpet, small flowers, tolerates that heat and humidity and the beat down of summer rains. So we thank the R&D group there at Metrolina Greenhouses. I do want to have one more comment about Itsy Magenta. JVK in Canada has also listed it as one of the top varieties to grow for 2021. Also, JVK has recommended Dekko Banana to be grown, top 25 in 2021. Dekko Banana is our yellow vegetative petunia that finishes out the core colors of this vegetative series. So this is our landscape petunia, great for small containers, hanging baskets, and a carpet of color that does so well. So dare to be different with Dekko Banana. Here it is at Metrolina in the south in summer. Again, those globed color balls that you see. Allison Carlson has some awesome videos at the Lucas site. Please visit. Plant Peddler in Colorado State. If you get a chance, take a look. The throat has a little bit of pigmentation, and that's because as the nights get a little cooler, you're going to see a little bit of pigmentation. And in my opinion, it's very attractive. So as the nights are very warm, you're going to get a straight yellow color, but you get that nice pigmented throat in cooler temperatures. So that's it from a vegetative standpoint. Now let's dive into some of the seed crops. So we're going to first start off with the first seed impatiens to be introduced to the market that is highly resistant to impatiens downy mildew, and that's Imara XDR. We were so impressed with Denise Mullins and her team there in Marysville, Washington at Smith Gardens, and how she presented Imara, growing all the colors. And also in 2019, she had wonderful comments about Imara's performance. So a diverse portfolio of colors. Check out Smith Gardens video, a nice overview of the Syngenta genetics, vegetative and seed for this Impatiens walleriana. So 9 colors and 6 mixes. We introduced 5 mixes this year. Our recent introductions have been Salmon Shades, Pink, and Red Star. Imara, we want to take back the shade. We featured it in the shade there in Pennsylvania at the Penn State Landisville site. Here you can see performance, orange, white, purple, doing very well. performing all the way through the season, north of 4.1 to 4.2, upwards to 4.7 out of 5 for the entire season. So check it out. If you get a chance, go into the Penn State site and you can search by genetics company. Take a look at the Imara XDR. They've also tested some great seed crops such as Be Bright Pentas, Top Hat Begonia, Bright Spark Celosia, and Mojave Salvia. So thank you so much, Penn State, for all your hard work. And it's great too because we have the vegetative crops displayed at Lucas in New Jersey. You come across the border and you see a lot of our new seed crops there in the beautiful fields near Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And Metrolina, wonderful display here in August of our Impatiens. This is some of the new introductions, the pink there on the left, salmon shades above, and the red star Imara XDR. So take back the shade with Imara XDR. And then a huge thank you to Dr. Brett Pemberton for featuring Cora XDR in a lot of his videos. He has labeled Cora as a Texas superstar for many years. He has a nice video on some of the heat-loving varieties, and Cora XDR was right there performing well. So thank you so much, Texas A&M. And also, thank you for evaluating those Caldera geraniums. Caldera, our tech manager, Mr. Keith Francis, is a Texas A&M alum. He can tell you how hot it gets in Texas. And to see Caldera perform that well, we were very impressed. So we try to feature Cora XDR in the South, but in the North, such as Steve Poppy at Minnesota at the Morris site displayed the Cora XDRs. We also had Michigan State in the North displaying Cora XDR. Really strong performance. A side note for Steve Poppy at the Minnesota site, he also featured a lot of our vegetative geraniums. So thank you, Harvey Lang, Dr. Harvey Lang, for collaborating with the University of Minnesota to get all those great Calliopes, Mojos, and Moxies into the trial. On the right-hand side, this is Cora XDR Apricot, our new introduction for the year. We also have a Cora Cascade Bright Rose, but doing very well and definitely the land of the aerial Phytophthora. Resistant to 20 strains of aerial Phytophthora, 10 of the most virulent strains, it is resistant. Now let's round out this webinar with our two new seed petunia series, FlashForward and FotoFinish. I had the pleasure of trialing these seed petunias in 2018 and I was very impressed. Easy to sow, easy to grow, great as a monoculture, and also perform very well in combination planters and in landscape beds. FlashForward, a Petunia milliflora, smaller flower, about 1.5 to 2 inches wide. The FotoFinish has a little bit larger flower. This is basically going to replace the plushes and the ramblins. But these two seed petunia series are easy to produce. 9 to 10 weeks from sowing, mounded habits, good branching, strong performance. Also, take a look at FotoFinish. We have actually a video specific to FotoFinish from the propagation to production side of things. Costa Premier, short days, week 10, performing so well. Strong flowers, a dense carpet of color, and then at Penn State. So we really tried to get a southern, a northern, and a western site. So check out Denise Mullins' videos about the seed petunia series there at Smith Gardens to see more of a western performance. You can see that Penn State had really strong performance in their container gardens, strong flower power of a lot of the FlashForwards, and also FotoFinish. So FotoFinish has 8 colors and a few mixes, nice, bright, vibrant color. FlashForward has 11 colors and 2 mixes. So check them out. These are really solid performers, doing well all summer long, containers and baskets. So I think that pretty much wraps up the presentation. Again, a small flavor, a small taste of our genetics in this webinar. We didn't want to take up too much of your time today, but we encourage you to really navigate through the website. You're going to get this recorded webinar at the end of our session, and then we'll be happy to address any questions that you have. Maybe you don't have questions right now, but please send them in and we'll be happy to address them. So with that, I'll turn it over to our operator to see if we have any questions on the line.
So far, no questions. We can give it just one more moment. Or of course, we thank you very much for joining our webinar this morning. Have a wonderful day. Please do check out our trials page to see all of our cooperating trial sites. Thank you so much for your business. Have a great day.